Greetings, fellow Gorehounds, and welcome back to a Blood Splattered vlog. I'm the Horror Guru.
I'm gonna take another hit. Hang on.
Very appropriate for this movie.
And I'm Count Jackula.
And today we're going to talk about Jimmy Stiggs, written and directed by Joe Begos of Christmas Bloody Christmas, Bliss, and The Mind's Eye fame. This movie is a hilarious splatterpunk horror comedy science fiction film about a self-insert for Joe Begos named Jimmy, who is basically Joe Begos. He is a filmmaker living in Los Angeles in Joe Begos' actual apartment, who one day, while getting really fucking high, his apartment is invaded by aliens who abduct him. And the movie just unravels from there. That is what the movie is about. So this movie technically came out Christmas 2024, but we missed it at the time because it was such a limited release. It then had a brief re-release in October 2025 that we also missed.
Yeah.
Because we had so much going on. So we finally watched it recently because it hit video on demand, and we rented it, and we had an utter blast with this movie.
Yes.
This movie was a movie that was originally conceived in the COVID times. And the thing is, when you watch the movie, you can definitely tell that that's when the movie was conceived and that's when most of it was filmed.
Yeah.
It also speaks to some of the movie's flaws. The movie is a little repetitive at times, especially the dialogue is very repetitive. You could tell—
You motherfucker! Fuck you, motherfucker!
Yes, you could tell that half of the dialogue was ad-libbed as they were going on.
Yeah.
But that being said, all edges and roughness aside, I love this movie.
Well, I feel like this is a movie made of rough edges.
Yes, 100%. Like, it's a splatterpunk film, right?
Yeah.
It's got all the trappings of a splatterpunk film. It's got the hard rock punk metal music. It's got the fucking gratuitous swearing, the gratuitous violence, gore out its ass. And it's also just got a fucking, like, punk rock attitude.
It does.
In the movie.
And luckily, Joe Begos' apartment looks pretty sweet.
I was jealous of his apartment.
Yeah, me too.
I fucking loved his apartment. And what I also loved is that the copy of the movie we watched actually included a bit of a making of at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And I loved that he kept a lot of the damage he did during the filming of this movie as just part of his apartment's decor, including some of the gore on the walls and shit.
It's like, oh yeah, we just never cleaned that. You know?
That's fucking amazing. Joe Begos, I love you, man. You are a fucking god. That is awesome. The other thing I actually kind of liked about this movie is that, honestly, while some of the dialogue was very repetitive, it actually kind of reminded me of me and Jack.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, Jimmy and Stiggs in this movie, the way they talk to each other kind of feels like a slightly harsher version of the way Jack and I communicate when we're not on film and trying to be YouTube friendly.
Yeah.
Which, if you think we swear a lot here, we actually swear way more off camera.
No idea. No idea.
This is us toned down most of the time. The other thing I really like about his movies in general is that his movies definitely have that kind of like underground metalhead punk show feel.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Every time I watch one of his movies, it feels like going to one of those fucking like metal shows that I used to go to when I was
it feels like going to a metal
younger.
show, or it feels like watching like a trauma flick.
Yes, 100%. This one especially.
This one especially feels like a trauma flick.
Joe Begos' movies often like try to evoke some classic film that inspired the movie they're making. Like The Mind's Eye feels very Cronenberg. Bliss kind of has like almost like a Liquid Sky kind of feel to it and whatnot. And of course, Christmas Bloody Christmas has a lot of like Terminator and like Silent Night, Deadly Night in it. This movie very much feels trauma. It very much feels like we're just gonna make the nastiest
by the seat of our pants, making the most ridiculous fucking movie we fucking can.
And the grossest movie. One criticism I do have of the movie, though, is there is an extended portion of this movie that is filmed entirely from Jimmy's point of view, almost like a found footage movie, but it's not a camera. It's literally his eyesight.
Yeah.
And the way they let you know that it's just straight up his eyesight and it's not a camera is it constantly has him blink.
Oh, that blinking. Yeah. That got a little hard to deal with.
I normally don't get headaches from found footage films, but the constant blinking he was doing in those scenes actually did give me a little bit of a headache. I think it was a little bit too much. I don't think it needed it, to be completely honest.
No.
But it was a unique thing that I hadn't seen a movie do. So at least it has that.
It was worth pointing out. Luckily, it doesn't do that.
It doesn't stick to that the entire movie. It only bookends the movie with the first person scenes. There's the beginning of the movie, and then there's the very last bit of the movie. And the rest of the movie is just filmed like a movie. You know, the characters are on screen bickering to each other.
Yeah.
And decapitating aliens that all look like paper mache grays.
Yeah.
You know, like the classic gray aliens.
And when you look at the behind the scenes, indeed, that is exactly what they are.
And they made a bunch of them like for different like decapitations and bloody stuff. And it's just such a fun movie. I was laughing my ass off from start to finish.
Yeah. One of the things that I thought was really amazing was that it was shot on 16 mil, wasn't it?
I wouldn't be surprised if it was.
It was shot on film.
It looked like it.
Yeah.
If it wasn't shot on 16 millimeter film, then whatever filters he put onto it, like, captured that feel.
Yeah.
Because it definitely felt like it, which makes it even more impressive if it was, given some of the wacky fucking camera rigs he was using in this movie to accomplish some, like, truly kind of, like, Sam Raimi-esque shots throughout it.
Yeah, it's clear that they were just doing whatever, like, handmade thing they could do to get the shot.
This is very much a DIY film, too, because he basically filmed this with, like, him and, like, two of his friends.
Yeah.
And all the camera rigging and stuff. He himself is a cinematographer, so he did most of the camera work himself. And he did most of the effects work himself, too, like the making of the puppets and whatnot. So, like, this is basically, like, 3 guys, a camera, and a bunch of bloody puppets.
Yeah.
And an apartment that they were willing to trash. But honestly, all those rough edges just kind of like, you know, add to the charm of this movie, you know?
Yeah.
This feels like a movie that you would see like the crazy box art and go rent it back in the day and then take it home and be like, what the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah.
There's not like a lot of deep things to talk about with this movie. Obviously, it's a movie about 2 friends who are getting really fucking high and paranoid and crazy while fucking aliens are attacking. But there's not like, the movie doesn't have much to say.
No.
It's just a fun ride. It is
what it is.
It is a haunted house ride.
Yes.
That's basically what it is. And as that, I had a fun time with this. I kind of wish I had seen it earlier when it originally came out. But, you know, I'm glad I caught it eventually. Jimmy and Stiggs.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. And with that said, let us move on to the spoilers.
Not a lot to spoil here. There's even more like gratuitous gore and violence.
There actually
in the
is.
second half of the movie.
There is some spoilers.
Oh, that's true.
The way this movie culminates is eventually Jimmy and Stiggs start killing each other.
Yeah.
Because they get so paranoid. Basically, they're trapped inside the apartment, but the apartment also feels like it's on the alien spaceship at one point.
Yeah.
Or it's like a simulation of their apartment at one point. You're not quite sure. And the aliens are attacking them. But eventually, they start to lose their mind and they start to lose all sense of time.
Yeah.
And they eventually become like paranoid fucking rebels rebelling against these aliens and then eventually turning on each other. And at a certain point, it's just Jimmy because fucking...
he's killed Stiggs.
He's killed Stiggs. And at the end of the movie, they start doing this body horror shit where the aliens start taking over, like, bodies.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons why he has to kill fucking Stiggs and whatnot. He, at the end of the movie, has this, like, first-person sequence where he's, like, taking a chainsaw and he's running through the alien spaceship, decapitating aliens and shit. But, like, the aliens keep injecting shit into him, so he has to, like, cut off his arm and cut off his leg and eventually decapitate himself. It's all first person. It's fucking wild. And that's basically where this movie like ends. On that note.
It ends with him cutting his own head off.
The funny thing is, you could probably cut out the entire middle portion of the movie and just stitch together the first opening scene and the final ending scene, and you'd basically have a VHS segment.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Because if you think about it,
this does feel like a segment of VHS.
Because the last scene in the opening scene is him getting like possessed by the alien and then getting knocked out.
Yeah.
And the final scene starts with him waking up in the bathroom on the spaceship. You could totally have stitched those together.
Totally. Has Joe Begos done a VHS segment?
Fuck. I feel like he has, but
I feel like he must have. But
if not, they should tap him because after watching this, he could definitely make a killer one.
Yeah.
You know, but that being said, I don't want to get rid of the middle portion of the movie because the middle portion of the movie is a fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And I fucking love it. The entire floor is just bodies of aliens, and you can't step anywhere without stepping on a squish.
Dude, I'm like sitting there going like, how much damage did you do to that fucking apartment?
I'm like, oh,
I'm surprised it's still livable.
I would have to agree. God damn.
Yeah.
Insane. And I don't know what more to say.
There's not much more to say other than it's an excellent flick. You should check it out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And with that said, my fellow gorehounds, where can they find you, Count Jackula?
Well, you can find me here on YouTube, where I stream pretty much every weekday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'd love to see you. We talk about all kinds of groovy things like horror movies, Satan. How about you?
Y'all know me. I'm the Horror Guru. You can find me at the Horror Guru on various social media platforms, but these days I primarily use Blue Sky, so follow me on there. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you're notified of our videos immediately upon their upload. And if you'd like to help out either of us more directly, be sure to check out our Patreon pages. And remember, if you decide to go the Patreon route, even $1 a month can go a long way, but we will certainly accept more. And with that said, my fellow gorehounds, if you made it this far into the video, then I want you to comment below, and be sure to comment below using the hashtag. Hashtag don't do drugs, because really, this movie is kind of like Bliss, in that the entire thing was just made worse by how many drugs the characters were taking, which made them even more paranoid and crazy. But at the same time, it might have actually helped them at the beginning, but eventually it becomes a detriment, especially when he gets Stiggs like drunk and stuff, and Stiggs is like on the mend.
Yeah, he's a recovering alcoholic.
So he just fucking loses it after he fucking falls off the wagon. Man, what a wild movie.
Yeah.
I loved it.
It was a lot of fun.
Jimmy and Stiggs, ask for it by name.